What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with VR365. Welcome to another day, another dollar. Yes, it is February 12th. It is 11 a.m. and we are back in the mix with another episode of VR365. Of course, now we are up to episode 96 of the show. It's kind of amazing, man. We're going to be hitting 100 episodes. That's the beauty of doing a show every single day. You just burn through episode numbers like it's going out of style. So yeah, we will eventually be hitting 100 episodes later this week, which is kind of crazy. But basically, we do have some stories that are going on today. It is Tuesday, and we have a handful of things that are popping off. And probably I'd have to say, like, the lead story of the day, Space Junkies by Ubisoft. Yes, we've been wondering for the longest time, what is the deal with Space Junkies? Because that game could have came out way back in November, maybe December, maybe in January, and we just haven't heard anything about it, and now we have a date. Space Junkies is coming March 26. It is going to hit the HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, Windows Mixed Reality, and it is also coming to PlayStation VR. And I have the launch trailer for PlayStation VR, so why don't we go ahead and check this out, because what we might get is a little bit of an inkling of how much of a downgrade are we looking at here when it makes its way over to PlayStation VR. So let me go ahead. I'm going to pump the volume on this Home Sweet Home trailer, and we'll check out some Space Junkies. So here we go. Let's grab this baby.
For the players.
Alrighty, yeah, that is Space Junkies. It has a release date. It is March 26th. That is a pretty cool trailer. I think it's an interesting idea. I wonder, when I went to full screen, let me see here. I wonder if my full screen is off. Okay, now we're ready. But yeah, that is Space Junkies. It is coming March 26th. That's good to know. Finally, we got a little information on that. Looks pretty cool. This is obviously a 2-on-2 trailer. A_Gilling says it's not the best trailer they've ever done, but it's a little bit interesting, you know? The piano playing in the background and just kind of like the faces of everybody. I think it's kind of interesting. I think it's unique, you know. I mean, we see trailers every frickin' day, and we just get bombarded by these trailers over and over again. And I would say that is a little bit of a different kind of a trailer. It's a little bit unique. I kind of like it. Not too bad. It is coming to PlayStation VR. I don't know how much of the footage that we saw in this trailer is actually PlayStation VR footage. Like, I don't know if any of this, honestly, is PlayStation VR footage. That one part almost looks like Iron Man, huh? Looks almost like Iron Man in the headset there. But, yeah, I mean, that part looks like Iron Man as well. But yeah, looks pretty cool. And if we go ahead and switch over here, let's see. Go ahead and switch over to our webby browser right here. Here's the Space Junkies Steam page, and this still hasn't been updated. We still don't have a date here, but yeah, it is coming on March 26th, so this should be updated pretty soon. It is going to hit Vive, Rift, PlayStation VR, Windows Mixed Reality. All of them are going to be ready for that launch. Now, my question is are people really going to care about Space Junkies a lot? Because they've had so many little betas, so many trial runs. We just talked about this yesterday, in fact. We were talking about Evolve, which was Turtle Rock Studios came out with Evolve, but they had so many betas, so many free trials for such a long period of time that by the time the game actually come out, a lot of people didn't care about it. I don't know that that's actually going to happen here with Space Junkies. March, this is the first banger of March that I know of. I don't know, like, do we have any other really big games that have been confirmed for March? I can't think of any off the top of my head, but, you know, we could have, what's wrong with my chat? Hold on one second. I need to pop my chat out again. I have my chat popped out, but it's only showing me one comment. Okay, here we go. Now we have chat popped out correctly. Yeah, so Space Junkies, we'll see how much hype there is for this game. It is a 2-on-2 type of a game. It's pretty cool. Price is also going to be a concern too, because you got stuff like Echo Combat that you can grab for $10, but that is Space Junkies coming on March 26th. Okay, hold on one second here. I need to, one second here. I got to get something on the screen. Just one sec before we get into the next story here. Okay, so here we go. And what is our next story? Our next story is Eden Tomorrow. It is available today. So this game is out there. This game is available. And interestingly enough, $20. $20, man. I don't know. I think this is kind of a must buy. If you have a PlayStation, well, I mean, I think it's a must buy. I don't know for sure, but if you happen to have a PlayStation VR, and if you had any enjoyment whatsoever in something like Robinson the Journey or other kind of exploratory games where you're going through an environment and you're exploring different things, I think you probably want to grab this. I enjoyed the demo. Of course, there is a demo still out there, so maybe grab the demo, make sure you enjoy that. But $20, that is not bad at all. Like, I kind of like this VR thing that we're in right now, from a standpoint of a lot of games are $29.99, a lot of games are $24.99, a lot of games are $29.99, and I like these price ranges. You know, we're kind of spoiled a little bit as VR gamers, and then when you get like a major big time game, it might be like $39.99. We don't get very many $59.99 full price games. It's very rare. Basically Fallout 4 VR, Skyrim VR. There's only a handful of games. LA Noire, although LA Noire I think might have been $49.99. So there's only a handful of games that will really try that $59.99 price, and I can take these kinds of games all day long, man, all day long. Now, the word is on the PlayStation VR subreddit, people that have gotten their hands on this, people that have done some videos on this, they're saying that there is about 4 to 5 hours of gameplay in Eden Tomorrow. And actually, yeah, there's 4 to 5 hours in gameplay in Eden Tomorrow. And in addition to that, it's kind of a walking simulator. A lot of people talk about, like, it's not really like, there's not a lot of fast action and stuff that is going on. That is Eden Tomorrow. It is available right now. And then in other news on PlayStation VR side is XING The Land Beyond. So XING The Land Beyond is also available today for PlayStation VR players. Also, remember, the DLC is out today. That's something I should probably try to go into. Maybe see if I could do a Let's Play from inside the new DLC that was launched today for the PC VR version of XING The Land Beyond. But PlayStation VR version, $20. And if you are a PlayStation Plus member, you can grab this puppy for $15. Not too shabby, not too bad at all. I haven't heard too much. I don't think I've heard from somebody that has played the PC VR versions and then also been in the PlayStation VR versions, how much of a graphical change is between the two games. It's very beautiful on PC VR, and I'm hoping it would still look very good on PlayStation VR as well. But remember, this price is only available until February 19th at 8 a.m. So if you want to grab this for that $15 discount, you're going to have to jump on that pretty darn quickly. But yeah, these are two big PlayStation VR games that hit today. And tomorrow we have Intruders, which is another interesting game that is hitting PlayStation VR very soon. So lots of stuff going on in the PSVR world. Now, speaking of PlayStation VR, Chris says 5-hour story-driven game sounds great to me. I love that type of stuff. I have no problem. Like when I find out that a game is 3 to 4 hours long or maybe 4 to 5 hours long, that's fine. That's perfectly great. I love that. I know there's a lot of people, they get up in arms. Like everybody wants these 50, 60, 100-hour games. I don't want those games. I like these shorter games. For example, Transference, I think, is like 4 to 5 hours. And that's like the perfect length for me. I like that. Of course, I never finish anything, so that's part of my issue there. I think I like it just because it gives me an actual chance to finish a game, where something like The Mage's Tale, that is like 11 or 12 hours, I'm lucky if I'm like halfway through the game. So let's go ahead and our next story, we're going to go to the tweet window. So let's go ahead and bounce over to our tweet window right here. And so this is on Twitter, and it says, remember those designs for a new PlayStation motion controller with finger tracking and haptic feedback? Well, Sony have updated the patent yet again, suggesting they are moving closer to a final product. Now, this is PlayStation VR News on Twitter, which is actually an individual person that is basically scouring the web for every little bit of PlayStation VR related news and then popping it on Twitter and talking about it. So I guess what this guy did is found another patent filing from Sony that is related to this motion controller design. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to our image window, which is this one here. And so yeah, this is the original patent design. You guys might remember this from back in the days. We talked about this extensively when it first hit. And it's interesting because it has this little strap. You stick your hand in there. Your fingers are naturally going to curl around this thing in such a way where it's going to know whether your fingers are resting on it or not. You got the trigger up there. You got a thumbstick. You got these different little buttons all over it. And I don't know. It's an interesting design, but like this doesn't really mean a hell of a lot that they went in and they've changed. You know, they went in and they've they've made some changes to the patent design. It doesn't necessarily mean anything at all, but it could mean quite a bit because I do believe PlayStation VR 2 is pretty much inevitable. Obviously, a dramatic change to the controllers is absolutely inevitable. And so the fact that they went back in on this patent design, they made some changes and refiled it, that could point to the fact that they could be getting close to a point where they're finalizing their controller design. Now, the question then turns to, when are we going to get a PlayStation VR 2? And if you hop over to the PSVR subreddit, everybody over there thinks like we're going to get one like in a couple of months. I don't think it's going to happen. I personally think this is the way it's going to shake out. I think November of 2020, we get PlayStation 5. That's my personal opinion. November of 2020, PlayStation 5. Probably going to be $399.99. Maybe even $499.99 for PlayStation 5. It's going to be a high-end product that is, it's not going to be a mass market product right away. It's going to be for the people that really want that high-end experience. And then I believe they're going to wait one more year. So it's going to be an additional year. So we're talking November of 2021. Yeah, man, that is a long wait. It is a very long wait to finally get a legitimate controller for PlayStation VR 2. But the good news is with such a long wait like that, there's going to be so many more improvements that are going to come along with it. So that's the good news there as far as PlayStation VR. But let's go ahead and bounce back over here to our standard scene. And actually, you know what I do want to do? Let's bounce over to the Webby browser because there's more PlayStation VR stuff in the news. So let's talk about this for a quick second. It's all PSVR all the time, guys. Okay, PlayStation US boss. PlayStation VR's change in 10 years will be dramatic. So, you know, that's just a quote there from an interview. But I think, what else? There's some other PlayStation VR news. Let me see. Where is it? They've got like a new CEO, I think, of their American division. Okay, let's go over here to Road to VR. I think it's over here on Road to VR. Yeah, Jim Ryan. Okay, so Jim Ryan has been appointed CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, and that John Cadera has stepped down as president of CEO, and Jim Ryan is taking his place. Now, as far as like, I mean, the main interest we have with this is this guy going to be good news or bad news for those of us that are really into VR? So the real question we have, is this guy positive on VR? Is he negative on VR? Because you never know, because different executives within a company, some of them are incredibly bullish about VR, and some of them might think VR is a complete and utter waste of time. And that's worrisome because if one of these guys ends up taking the reins, then we're going to be affected by that. But honestly, from what we look at, there's not, I don't know what these images are on the side of the screen. I apologize for that. That is Road to VR. I'm not doing that. He says technology cycles are shortening, and there's no reason to expect VR to be any exception to that, Ryan says. If we have aspirations to take this into a mass market space, clearly things will need to happen to the form factor, whether it's wireless, a lighter headset, or all of these things. And so I'm just trying to see if there's any more quotes. He says, now, Ryan, so apparently this guy Ryan is known for his unfavorable stance on backwards compatibility, saying in the same interview that the notion simply isn't worthwhile. When we've dabbled with backwards compatibility, I can say it is one of those features that is much requested, but not actually used very much, Ryan maintains. That, and I was at a Gran Turismo event recently where they had PS1, PS2, PS3, and PS4 games, and the PS1 and the PS2 games, they looked ancient. Like, why would anybody play this? So I guess he doesn't understand that there are retro gamers out there that like to revisit their nostalgic memories. Targeted ads based on browsing history. Gee, now, okay, so you're telling me that I'm browsing like Knights of the Round Table and I want like a nice velour or I'm browsing this stuff? I'm not browsing this stuff. I'm browsing rocket ships, and Spider-Man, crazy Spider-Man outfits. I'm not browsing this. I don't know where this stuff is coming from. I guarantee you, I have never done any kind of a Google search ever to try to get this velour, velvety Knights of the Round Table design here. This is like, I can't believe that someone actually made this thing. Like, this thing actually exists. So yeah, I don't know. And then Road to VR, like, they have these weird like dog pictures, like Rottweilers and everything as well. And I'm not browsing Rottweilers either. Not sure what's going on with all that. But anyway, that is Jim Ryan. I honestly don't think there's anything we need to worry about here as far as him taking over. VR is a very important part of Sony's future. They know that. That is not changing. Nothing's changing over there. So it is all Gizzy in the hizzies. Okay, one thing I did want to get to is we're coming up on February 24th, 2019. Now, what is February 24th? That is the opening day for Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, Spain. And this year, it is important because of HoloLens 2.0. Yes, we cover AR, we cover VR. We're very interested in this, and Microsoft is getting back in the mix, we believe. And we believe on February 24th, there's going to be a big unveiling HoloLens 2.0, a completely new form factor possibly, maybe controllers, maybe an actual controller that works with it. Lots of things we're going to learn about it. Field of view is possibly going to get bigger. Alex Kipman, technical fellow at Microsoft, is going to be there on stage, I believe, talking about this. And we got a little teaser trailer that came out yesterday. Microsoft Strikes Back. Yes, Microsoft Strikes Back. So I'm going to run this little teaser trailer. Now, the thing is, the teaser trailer, honestly, doesn't give us any hints about anything, really, but it's kind of cool. So let's just go ahead and check it out, and it's very short as well. I'm going to go ahead and pump the volume on this Space Junkies trailer, and then we'll transition in to this Microsoft teaser trailer for February 24th. So let's go ahead and do this. Alrighty, so yeah, that is it. This is the teaser trailer. It's teasing something that is happening on February 24th. Don't know what we can glean from this. I'm looking at these rocks, and it reminds me of Irrational Exuberance, that early VR experience that was so freaking cool. But yeah, I don't know what to make of this. Like, I don't understand like what this is trying to tell us, or you know, looking at that, like looking at this little part here, I wonder if that's going to be like when we finally see HoloLens 2.0, is it going to have this weird little designs of it? And then after we see the final version of HoloLens 2.0, we might watch this trailer and be like, oh yeah, they were showing like the little back part of the way it looks when it sits on your head or something. I don't know. I don't know what this is. But I'm still hyped. I'm still interested in this. I'm excited for HoloLens 2.0 because the bottom line here is Microsoft eventually, okay, HoloLens 2 is self-aware. That's main fan. Yeah, it's learning on its own. It's growing into a spider. Everything is spider related. You know what's funny? Remember I said, well, no, this is actually on my Let's Play that I did. I was saying, I'm going to have a dream about a spider because of that damn Let's Play I did with Carnage Chronicles. Well, that night I didn't have a dream about a spider, but last night I did. I had a dream about a Black Widow. I had to kill the Black Widow, and then the Black Widow was like crawling on my carpet, and I lost it, and I couldn't find it. Like, I saw where it was, and then I lost it, and I was like, oh my God, I got to find this Black Widow and kill it before it gets me. I normally do not kill spiders, by the way. I don't kill bugs. I try to capture them and take them outside, but a Black Widow, I will kill that thing in a New York minute. I'm not letting no Black Widow walk around inside my house. And Rudel Zavedno says HoloLens 2.0 only $3,000, only $2,999. Yeah, I mean, a question that we do have to ask ourselves with HoloLens is, will Microsoft, will they start to move towards consumerism with the HoloLens? You got Magic Leap. Magic Leap is out there. See, one of the things that people don't realize is when you have companies like Magic Leap that are out there and they're trying to do it, they're trying to make it happen. They're releasing games, they're releasing applications. They've started the process. They've begun the process. Now, Magic Leap has not been successful, I don't think. I don't think they're selling a lot of Magic Leap 1s at all, and I don't think it's making a major dent, but they're out there. They're doing it. They're making something happen. And I think that makes other companies like Facebook and Google and Microsoft and all these other companies that eventually they do have AR ambitions. They're not ready yet, but they definitely have AR ambitions. But I think it makes them kind of nervous when you got another company that is like, they're like staking their claim. You know, they're getting out there, they're doing it. Now, I don't know that they're going to be successful at all. In fact, I probably would argue they're not. But it still makes these big companies nervous, and they start to get itchy, and they want to get back in there. I still think it's going to be 100% business and enterprise because I think it's going to be way too expensive. But we'll have to see. February 24th is coming up in the near term. Okay, so the next thing I have a video to go to, and I was kind of surprised about this, but there is an Asgard's Wrath gameplay video that has hit Vimeo. And I went ahead and grabbed that video. It's about 1 minute and 45 seconds or so, and it has actual legit gameplay from Asgard's Wrath. So a really good look at what Asgard's Wrath looks like in action. So why don't we go ahead and grab that video and check that out real quick. So I'll pump this volume up and go to Asgard's Wrath.
Vile creatures! At my command! A key. Good. Vile creatures!
All right, well, there it is. That is the run of that gameplay video. Volume is really, really low. I had that completely maximized. I don't know if it was loud for you guys, but it was really quiet in my headset there. But, you know, hey, we're getting an actual look at what Asgard's Wrath looks like, the actual gameplay of it. It's always nice to get legitimate gameplay, you know, get a legitimate idea of what this game looks like. And just judging it purely on a visuals kind of thing, I think the visuals look pretty good. Like, wet surfaces, of course, always look good. That's kind of like catnip for graphic horrors. You know, you have a wet surface and you have like rain sprinkling down and everything is all glistening and stuff. You got your little frog guy, which is a helper that you can summon, and he can use his tongue to reach in and grab keys and stuff. You're breaking boxes and you're breaking pots and pans, which is kind of normal. You know, nothing really major right here. Now, one thing I was kind of concerned with, though, is the quips of the main character. Okay, I like this part here. Yeah, grab a rat and tickle his tummy. you can tickle a rat's tummy. Like, everybody wants to pick up a rat and grab them, but that's kind of cool that you could actually grab that rat and pick that up. You've got keys, you can open doors here, and again, like graphics on the walls, like the lighting on the walls and sparkling off the floor and stuff. Graphically, this does look pretty good. Now, when she actually swings her sword, though, at the bad guys, it kind of just like goes right through the bad guy. Like, you don't really see like an animation of the sword like actually doing something. Like right there, when she strikes that bad guy, it just kind of like goes right through them. And then I'm not so sure I like the commentary of a character, you know, where they keep quipping and making noises and stuff. They keep talking. Kind of reminds me actually of Marvel Powers United VR, which I thought that was kind of lame when your character would always be making these little comments. But that's something that probably could be turned off in the option menu. So, I mean, it looks like a dungeon crawler. You know, it looks like a dungeon crawler where you get to summon these creatures and characters that will help you out. Of course, we're not seeing any part of the god part of this gameplay where you become the big god creature. This is the boots on the ground part of the gameplay where you're the red-headed warrior lady that is running through this world. But it does look good. It looks pretty solid. Looks like it's running well. So that is Asgard's Wrath. We're absolutely looking forward to this game coming up this summer. So kind of cool that we did get a little bit of gameplay video for that. Okay, so one of the next things that we can go to at this point in time is, well, you know what? Let's go back over to our Webby browser. Let's go ahead and switch back over to our Webby browser real quick. And one of the things I always like to check out, actually, you know what? Oh man, I forgot to do this. Okay, hold on one second. Let's go Oculus Experiences. I forgot to preload all of this. I remember. Okay, so one of the things I do like to check out every day, of course, is our daily deals. And I did notice this one, not too bad. Paranormal Activity, The Lost Soul. It is $20. This is the deal of the day on Oculus. You got a little bit over 12 hours left in this. 33% discount. You're grabbing it for 20 bucks. Normal price is 30. I've played this, but you know what? I had some problems when I played this. I had some problems. Oh, now playable in non-VR mode as well. Keyboard, mouse, and controller. Now playable in non-VR. VR headset no longer needed. So that's news there. But I remember playing this a long time ago, and I did have some performance problems, but that was way back when my PC wasn't quite up to snuff. And this is one I probably need to revisit. There was a bit of jank. I remember going through going through the house and going through different parts of it, and you'd be like opening drawers and doing things. And sometimes there'd be a lot of fidgeting to like open up doors and drawers, and there was a little bit of a jank factor going on here. But Paranormal Activity, not too bad. Some people really like it. Don't know that I would rate it like in the top 5 among horror games, but it is going for 20 bucks. So that is the Oculus daily deal. Okay, let's see here. Another thing that we can get into, let's go back over to our standard scene. And we've got a game that is coming on February 19th. It is called Chromagun VR, and it is coming to PlayStation VR. And I have a trailer for it. Now, the trailer that I'm going to run is actually for the regular flat game version of Chromagun, which is already available on PlayStation VR. And this is not a free update. I think you're actually going to have to buy this individually. So I think this is an individual thing, Chromagun VR, but it is coming on February 19th. Let's go ahead and check a quick trailer of that and see how that game is shaping up. Let's see what's up.
For teen.
What?
Hey there, you look like a smart fellow. We need somebody to field test our newest piece of paint technology. This is the Chromagun patent pending that you've heard so much about. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Chromatech, just another science company that makes people solve test chambers with an experimental gun. And so cool. And there's this snarky dude giving instructions over a speaker system. You know what? Fine. If you're going to be like that, don't sign up for the testing. Oh, but by the way, your colleague John, he did. And he had a blast, of course. When John comes back to work, if he comes back, everybody's going to be like, "Hey, John, I heard you participated in this badass experiment and it totally made you much cooler." And then John's going to be like, "Yeah, it was rad and everybody who misses it is a loser." And you'll go, "I could have done that too." But nobody's going to listen to you. And you're going to die alone. On an island, probably. So, do whatever you want. Participation not advised and may entail exposure to volatile materials. We are not affiliated with science, but would totally like to be.
All right, well, that is Chromagun, and as you can see, I screwed up. That is it's a 720p trailer, and I forgot to convert it. My bad. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get into next little story I got. I need to grab a trailer for that, and I'll fix my windows while I'm at it. Hold on one second here. So one of the PlayStation VR games that we're looking forward to a little bit later this spring is this game right here. It is Jupiter and Mars. I'm going to switch over to my full screen trailer just to get the ratio fixed real quick. I'll be right. Okay, there we go. So yeah, this game, Jupiter and Mars, is coming this spring. And the reason this is in the news is because James Melky, who is one of the main guys at Tigertron, I think he's the guy that basically founded Tigertron, he was on a podcast recently where he revealed a bunch of details about this game, Jupiter and Mars. So we do have some details for this game. Number one, apparently this is an exclusive PlayStation VR game for at least 6 months. So this is not going to be coming to Vive, Rift, Windows Mixed Reality for at least 6 months. That's one of the things we found out about this. Another thing that we found out in this podcast is this game was developed for VR first. So this is not a flat game that just happens to have a VR mode. It's a VR game that they kind of also made a flat mode. Because I know a lot of times when we see on the screen here, it says PlayStation VR mode included. And so we kind of wonder, wait a minute, is this a flat game that just kind of has a VR mode? Or is this a VR game that it's like, yeah, let's make a flat mode just in case some flat gamers want to buy it as well? And it seems a little bit more like number two, which is good news for us because we want it to be like a native VR game more than anything else. Another thing that we found out about Jupiter and Mars, the PlayStation 4 Pro version of this game is going to feature a higher frame rate and resolution. And the developer of this game, well, Tigertron, they were talking about what were their inspirations for this game. And I guess the guy mentioned The Last Guardian, Rez, and Super Metroid as part of their inspirations, their influences for making this game. And I guess within this podcast, they were asked whether or not Echo the Dolphin was much of an inspiration, and they specifically said no. Echo the Dolphin was not an inspiration at all, which some people really are up in arms about a little bit over there on the PSVR subreddit. But yeah, that is Jupiter and Mars. It is coming this spring. And I like underwater things in VR. I just think whenever you're in VR and you're looking around and everything's colorful and you hear the noises of the ocean and stuff and you're controlling your dolphins and kind of going through the world, I think that could be pretty cool in VR. So I'm kind of excited about this. But yeah, if we go back, let's go ahead to our Webby browser window over here. This is the PlayStation VR subreddit. And let's see, where was this? Bullet points from Tigerton creative director James Melky. He was interviewed on the GT VR developer report about PlayStation VR exclusive Jupiter and Mars. So there's lots of information in here. They kind of break it all down. Like Tetsuya Mizuguchi told James Melky after playing the beta of Jupiter and Mars, this was the game he was born to make. And if Mizuguchi tells you that, you are living a dream, baby, because everybody loves Mizuguchi. But yeah, timed exclusive for at least 6 months. And they came up with the idea a long time ago, but they pitched it to Ubisoft, Disney Interactive, and Sony Santa Monica. But everybody was saying that games with animals don't sell very well. Like games that have animals in them don't sell very well. So they passed on it. But apparently they decided, no, you know what, we're still going to work on this. We're still going to bang away on this. But the original idea behind Jupiter and Mars comes from a book called The World Without Us by Alan Wiseman. It's about what would happen to planet Earth if humans stopped existing today, and how long would it take for the world to recover. And one of the other things they mentioned is that the concept artist drew a picture of Jupiter swimming, which is one of the dolphins. Jupiter's one of the dolphins, swimming towards a fully submerged Big Ben. And they found it haunting. And the feeling from that image drove the game. So it's kind of this like ruined world. It's kind of a paradise decayed. You know, it's kind of like a paradise decay, brah. And, but I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm kind of excited for Jupiter and Mars. But you know, this is a smaller game. I'm hoping this is like a 1999 kind of a game as well. But yeah, we're looking forward to that sometime this spring. And now, let's see. Another interesting thing that I heard about today. Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog was a sales bust. Of course, it's been a long time since we've had, like, when's the last cute, cuddly mascot character? You can't say Astrobot. Astrobot is not a freaking animal. You know, what's the last animal that really sold well on any platform, in fact? Like, what's a game that features an animal character that sold very, very well on any platform? I guess, you know, Angry Birds, they got those little birds. They sell pretty well on iOS and Android and all of that. So I guess you could say Angry Birds could be one. Okay, so, you know, one thing I saw today, I was on the Vive subreddit, and I saw something about ladders and VR. And I was like, ladders and VR, that is a great idea. Who hasn't wanted to climb a real ladder while being in VR? And somebody has actually done this. And there's a little video for it. And let's go, oh, Moss. Yeah, that's right, Moss. Angry Birds, Moss. Yeah, we do have some. I mean, I don't know that those games have sold incredibly well that we could point to them and be like, hey, Moss, it sold 20 million copies, you know. Don't know that we can really point to that. But actually, I have this video here of somebody climbing a ladder in VR, both in real life and VR at the same time. I thought it was kind of interesting. I grabbed this trailer. Let's go ahead and check it out real quick. Hopefully this one is 1080p, because it's going to suck if I have to resize this. Let's see, where is our ladder climber guy? Vive tracker on a ladder. Let's go ahead and check this one out. Wow, was that amazing, guys? Or was that amazing? Climb a ladder in VR. Talk about your killer app. That is the killer app. But all jokes aside, honestly, one of the things that I thought about for a while there, I was thinking of different ideas for location-based VR entertainment. You know, bringing people to these location-based VR centers, and I feel like the immersion is going to increase if we start doing real life things, like climbing a ladder is kind of a real life thing, right? So you're climbing up a ladder, but you're in VR and the ladder is exactly where it needs to be and it's modeled within the VR world. Now this is a rickety ass ladder right here. They could have got a little bit of a better, more sturdier ladder to use. But I can imagine at some kind of location-based VR center, they have these ladders that you can climb that are like, they're for firefighters. They're like for training firefighters. And what they do is it's like this endless ladder, like the ladder repeats. So you could get on this ladder and you could be climbing it and you could climb like 200 feet up into the air, you know, and you really feel like you're doing it. And it's an endless ladder. It keeps going around and around and around. In fact, let me see if I can do a Google search for that real quick. Hold on one sec. We're going to switch over here to our Webby browser. And let's see here. If I just go Google, and let's see, endless ladder machine. Okay, and I think they make these things. Yeah, they have these endless ladder machines like Jacob's Ladder. Great movie, by the way. But they have these things like this, you know, where this guy's climbing this ladder. And what it does is it just keeps, like the track keeps going and going and going. And so they have this for like firefighter training. They have these endless ladders that, you know, just continue forever and a day. And I kind of think they could combine this with some type of like location-based VR gaming thing where, like, I feel like if you involve people where they're doing real life things, now you got to be able to see your hands and they got to be able to put your body in the game. And you got to be able to see your hands grab the parts of the ladder as you're climbing up to it. And then eventually when you get to the top, like maybe you climb up to the top and then now you're on like some mountaintop or something. And they do the whole thing in VR. And I think this is something that could happen. And this proves to me that ladder VR technology is real. This is possible, guys. Yeah, we can clean our gutters in VR. Clean your gutters VR. The next great hit could be coming to a location-based entertainment center near you. But no, these kinds of things, man, we got to figure this out. Like I was trying to think of stuff where you could be inside a relatively small footprint, you know, small square footage, but you want to involve a person and make them feel like they're in this gigantic world. So imagine they're climbing like this automatic ladder and they're climbing way up, but like they have to hold one hand on the ladder and then they're reaching off with their other hand and they're shooting things that are attacking them. And you have wind blowing and you have like maybe heat lamps that are, you know, so part of the way they're going up and there's like a thing that's on fire. As they get closer to the thing that's on fire, they start feeling the heat because the heat lamps get kicked in, or they're climbing up a little bit higher and there's like these huge gusts of winds that are blasting you from the side. We've got to come up with these ideas, man. We've got to do this. I'm telling you, get people moving around in VR. Get them feeling things, tactile sensations, actually grabbing things, moving things, climbing, doing regular things. Ceiling painter sim. Absolutely, Paradise. You got it. This is what we got to do, folks. If we don't bring ladders into VR, we might as well forget about it. VR is dead. You got to bring the ladder into VR. But I thought it was kind of funny that they actually had a ladder VR thing. But it's not what I'm thinking about. But anyway, that is a ladder VR. It is a real thing, guys. Okay, King Hell says, I went for a drive in my actual car with a VR helmet on. It was great success for immersion. I don't know about that. But you know what I would like, actually, in a location-based entertainment center is have a car that's chopped in half. So you only have half of a car, right? But you actually open a door, you actually get into the car, you actually have physical keys, you turn the car on, you know, it starts rumbling and stuff, the car starts shaking. I'm telling you, this is what I want. This is what I want in my future entertainment simulators, location-based centers. I want Grand Theft Auto 5, but I want to really get into the car. And then I want to get out of the car. And then I want to climb a ladder. And then I want to play full court, you know, tennis in a full-size tennis court. I want to do it all, guys. We got to make it happen. It's got to happen. All right, so that is climbing a ladder in VR. Jason H says, did I miss Space Junkie news? Yeah, that was at the very, very, very beginning of the show. We did find out that Space Junkies does have a release date. It is March 26. So that is our first banger of March that has been confirmed. Okay, now, just the other day, we were talking to Short Power 24, and we were talking about education. And you know what? I found a study. So I just found this today. In fact, it was just, look, February 12th, 2019. Study finds VR to be a highly effective teaching tool. So here's an example. Like, I know that there were studies like this where you teach somebody something in VR and they're able to learn it at a faster rate. And now I don't know that this is the kind of study that Short Power 24 needs. She probably needs a much more in-depth, peer-reviewed study to be able to present that to the educators at her schools in terms of trying to get cardboards into the schools, trying to get Oculus Go's, to get the school board to like invest in Oculus Go's and stuff like that for learning. But, this is some of the stuff they found. This is a story here that it is a highly effective tool for VR learning. Here's some key findings. Faculty that took the VR training overwhelmingly felt it was a valuable and effective teaching tool. A large portion of faculty felt they should invest in VR technology at their institution. So they had these people on Oculus Rifts, and, they're learning how to do things with patients, without having to actually have a patient, without having to have all the necessary equipment. And so almost no cyber sickness was reported in the survey. A plurality of young learners said this was a valuable learning tool they would like to see investment in. These promising findings, along with other research on VR training that indicate people remember what they learn in VR longer, are exciting indicators of the power and potential of this technology. Here's a video of Dr. Klein's presentation at IMSH. But yeah, it's there's some advantages here, and there is other research. I know I've heard about these other stories. Here's another one. People recall information better through virtual reality, says new UMD study. This is a study that was done at the University of Maryland Institute for Advanced Computer Studies. But there's other studies that have been done. I've heard, like, this is not the only time I've ever heard of this. Again, though, as far as what Short Power 24 is talking about, I don't know that these are the kind of studies that she's looking for. She's looking for probably peer-reviewed studies that spent like years, which we're going to have to kind of wait for that because VR is so new. So hopefully there are some colleges that are doing really seriously in-depth studies on this to find out just how much education VR can be a game changer for education. And I feel like we've been in countless VR experiences. Everybody knows this. You've been in these VR experiences where you feel like you remember that place. Like, I feel like I remember that house that's in Transference. I feel like I remember that apartment complex that is in Oregon Quarter. Like, I feel like I remember that place. There's a lot of these kinds of things where you feel like you've been there. You feel like it's a memory that you have. And that's something that's pretty powerful with VR. And I think that could help us with education. But as far as like public schools getting the necessary funding that they're going to need more in-depth stories. And this is probably not a very in-depth story, but it does show that the... it looks promising. It basically looks promising is the bottom line here. So that is good news as far as that. All right, guys. Well, we've been going for roughly an hour here. Not quite, but kind of running out of news at this point. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, yeah, I remember the spiders. I absolutely remember the spiders. Let me tell you, I have a great memory of those damn spiders. Unfortunately, too much of a memory of the spiders. But that's going to go ahead and do it for this particular episode of VR365. Once again, go ahead and like this episode if you found it mildly entertaining. Definitely not my best episode. I will admit that. Certainly not the best episode I've done in recent memory. But you know what? We keep banging these babies out. And the good news is out of, say, 7 episodes I do, probably 4 of the 7 are going to be pretty good. 3 of them might be kind of mediocre. Maybe this one was a little bit mediocre, but I still would love you guys to tickle that like button. And if you're new to the VR365 family, well, go ahead and click on the subscribe button, because we are bringing you guys this kind of information every single day. Now, if you were not subscribed to this channel, how would you find out about ladders in VR? It is the ultimate game changer for VR. Ladders in VR. Clean Your Gutters VR. It is coming soon to Steam. So, go ahead and subscribe to the show, like the show, do all those kinds of things, and I will be back tomorrow, Wednesday. Will Job be in the building? It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so maybe no Job. So we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, I will be back tomorrow around 11 a.m. Pacific time, and I will see you guys then. So go ahead, have a wonderful Tuesday. If you're a PlayStation VR owner, you might want to jump on Eden tomorrow. It's only $20. And if you have a PS Plus membership, if you've never played XING, The Land Beyond, that is a great deal at $15. So there's a couple of really good PlayStation VR games that just hit today. So that's kind of cool. And tomorrow, Intruders, Hide and Seek, that also hits PSVR tomorrow. So we're looking forward to that. All right, guys, I got to bounce out of here. I will see everybody tomorrow. Have a good one. Take it easy. Later.